Hey, it's Tom Gallagher. It's video 17. So the St. Louis Blues won in Game 6 against San Jose last night, and they're headed to the Stanley Cup. It's been 49 years since the Blues were in the Stanley Cup, and ironically, it was 1970, and we lost 4 games straight to the Boston Bruins. What is amazing is to see this town. It's coming unglued, and there's a radio station. I'm just driving along, and there's a local radio station, and the Blues have adopted this, which I thought was a stupid song back in the day. It's Gloria, and it's on this radio station 24 hours straight, one right after the other. Here's a song. And this town has come unglued. And what's funny is just a few days ago, somebody was asking me, how did you get into video? And ironically, it has a St. Louis Blues twist to it. And I was going to a local school, St. Louis University, University of Missouri, St. Louis. And I was in the business department, and I was failing. I was a terrible student. I wasn't applying myself, and I just was doing really bad. And I was going to drop out, and a friend of mine came up to me and said, "Man, you got to switch to the communication department. You know, even a dumbass like you'll be able to make it." So I switched, and I became friends with the dean of the department. And ironically, he came up to me one day, and he's like, "Hey, Tom, you're a Blues fan, aren't you?" And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "Well, we're going to be working with the St. Louis Blues players. We're going to teach them how to conduct themselves during interviews. And maybe you could help us." And I'm thinking to myself, I don't know squat about interviewing, but I'm in. So we started working with the players. We'd go over to, it used to be the arena where the Blues played, and we'd work with the players. And essentially all we did was we taught them to repeat the question. So if someone asked you, how was your game tonight? Instead of just answering the question, they would repeat the question, so that way it'd pick it up on the microphones, because you wouldn't hear the question in the background. So anyway, became friends with a guy by the name of Mark Reeds. And Mark was number 15 for the Blues, great guy, and became friends with him, and we would work with him a couple times a week. And one night, or one day, Mark said, "Hey, a bunch of the guys, we're going to this local bar after the game tonight. Why don't you and your girlfriend show up?" So we did, and ironically, one of the players starts hitting on my girlfriend. So I go up to him and I said, "Hey, I just want to let you know that's my girlfriend." And he's like, "Well, I don't care." And so I'm talking to him. Well, now he wants to kick my ass. And he was one of the enforcers for the team. And I'm thinking to myself, "Man, you kick people's ass every night of the week and you're on skates. I don't stand a chance." And so Mark Reeds came up when we were having this conversation. He's like, "Hey, what's going on?" And so, we told him what was going on. And he goes, "Tom, I'll take care of it." So he said, go have a drink. So I walk away, and Mark took care of it, came back to me later. He said, "Yeah, that guy's kind of a jack. Don't worry about it." Well, I became friends with Mark, just a great guy. And I've been thinking about him lately, and a couple other players, because in 2015, Mark died. He had cancer and died, left behind a wife and 2 children, and just a great, great guy. And it's sad to see that happen, because the Blues, after 49 years, are finally going back to the Stanley Cup, finally have a chance to redeem themselves, and great guys like Mark. And this is an opportunity to think about them and to mention them. So when you're going through a dry spell and you think it sucks, it's not a 49-year dry spell. It may be just a bit of a dry spell. So this town's coming unglued, and hopefully we've got a reason to hoist the cup here in St. Louis. We've never done that before. And when we do, I'll be thinking about Mark Reeds, or as he was called back then in the day, Reedsy. Thanks again. Have a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow.